everyone, this is Pure Kylie. Thank you for joining me on my second big trip report. This flight was on Qantas QF11 from Sydney to Los Angeles. This was the very first LA flight after Australia has officially opened the border again since 2020 March. Given that this was the very first day of reopening, it was very quiet at the airport. There was a bit of a media fanfare for the London flight that flew via Darwin, but there wasn't much media attraction for this LA flight. Interestingly, only one Qantas lounge was open for business class or any oneworld customers who has lounge access privilege. That happened to be Qantas first class lounge. Now, it wasn't functioning as a full first class lounge, meaning that there was no massage service, for example. However, you could still order food to your table, enjoy unlimited alcohol, and enjoy a great view from the first class lounge. I always found it quite interesting, given that this lounge probably has less patronage than business class lounge, that it was much bigger and much spacious than the business class lounge. As you can see, the first class lounge has very luxurious finishing with the marble floor contrasting with a luxurious wooden grain frame. There's two old-style retro flight display. There's a big one here and there's a smaller one at the back. Unfortunately, because there aren't that many international flights at this stage, I couldn't really see the flipping of the flipping board. As I mentioned before, there was a bit of a media fanfare, given that this was the first day of reopening. The staff were as familiar and as friendly as pre-COVID. And food tasted great too. I try not to have too much food so I can enjoy the food on board, but I couldn't resist. As you can see, you get a great view of the whole airport from this lounge. And this is a smaller flight display at the back of the lounge. Before too long, it was already time to board the plane. The gate that was used today was a gate 8, which is well known for having one of the longest bridge leading up to the aircraft. So I have to hold my excitement a little bit before getting on board. You can see on the diagram it has this long section before reaching the aircraft. The aircraft today was Boeing 7879, which does bulk of international flying since post-COVID. This particular plane was VHZNI, delivered in 2019. I happened to be on the very first commercial flight of this plane back in 2019. This aircraft features the latest business class, which is very cozy and luxurious. It's not particularly wide, but nevertheless quite comfortable, especially with the mattress on. You can see the new safety video that was only beginning to show right before COVID started. And back then it was only available on Boeing 787, but now it seems to be available on Airbus 380 as well. You can see here Qantas 38 fleets, Boeing 737 and a sole Boeing 767 freighter. Now I'll let you enjoy the ignition sound of the lovely General Electric engine.
Gentlemen, first officer Caroline Hindle on the flight deck. Welcome on board Qantas Flight 11 and now taxi bound for Los Angeles. I'm joined this evening on the flight deck by Captain Glenn Johnson, First Officers Stuart Morris, Second Officer Thomas Helvig, Second Officer Thomas Ferrarante, and your fabulous cabin crew this evening is led by Wendy Fernandez. Flight time tonight, 12 hours 47. And at this stage, anticipating fairly smooth conditions en route, the requirement, whenever seated, for your own safety, keep your seatbelt fastened. I'll be back to speak to you at top of climb with some more information. Until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy the in-flight service.
Well, something emotional about hearing a captain's welcome announcement after such a long time of not being on long-haul flight. After a bit of a taxiing time, we've used runway 34 left to take off towards north and veer towards left slightly before we make a right turn to head towards United States and Pacific Ocean. As we took off, we got the beautiful view of domestic terminal and Qantas maintenance bay area, as well as New Alexandria motorway interchange. This was followed by a night scenery of the Sydney CBD Central Business District.
Fuel efficiency. Our route this evening, if you want to follow it, is going to take us just south of Noumea, to the north of Nandi, north of Samoa, south of the Hawaiian Islands, and then on a northerly track into Los Angeles. At this stage, hoping to have you there about 10 minutes early, touching down about 20 minutes past 5 in the evening. The weather there is supposed to be a lovely evening. A few clouds in the sky, light westerly breeze, and probably about 17 degrees by the time we get there. If you'd like to reset your watch, the time now, 5 minutes past 5 a.m. I won't bother you any further through the night. I'll let you sit back, relax and enjoy our service. But a reminder for your own safety, while seated, do as we do and keep your seatbelt fastened. Good evening.
And it was a pretty smooth flight. For dinner service, I got salad and pasta with a variety of mushrooms, and had a cream caramel for the dessert, followed by cheese and crackers. It was somewhat abridged compared to pre-COVID service, but nevertheless the food quality was no different and as tasty as before. This creme brulee was quite nice. Now let's have a look at the seat. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Qantas business class seat. It was first launched in Airbus 330 and it's based on Thomson Aero's Vantage XL seat design. It's not the widest business class, but it is reasonably comfortable and is quite private. And there's plenty of storage space for a variety of things. The only downside I would say is a lot of those storage space is an open storage space. So things can fall out if there's a violent turbulence, which wasn't the case this particular time, fortunately. Very nice day to fly. As I said, there was very minimal turbulence and I don't remember being woken up by turbulence at all, which is uncommon in such a long flight over the Pacifics. The unfortunate thing was Qantas flight crews has this tendency of locking the window shade, so I couldn't really enjoy the outside scenery. Breakfast, you can choose what you want to have when you board the aircraft, and I kind of chose everything. It was a beautiful day. It's a shame that we landed around 5:30 and 6 p.m. And by the time we got out of the airport terminal, it was already dark.
We trust you've enjoyed your flight with us through the night. We look forward to seeing you again next year.
We approached California through the north side of the LA airport, around where the Point Mugu Naval Air Station is. You can see there's a Pacific Coast Highway right there. We made a right turn towards the LA and we flew parallel to the LAX airport, and then with a 180-degree turn to join the final approach to runway. This was my first time seeing the Tom Bradley International Terminal Midfield Concourse. I unfortunately did not have time to visit this concourse due to the tight schedule. Interestingly, I had a chance to see the aircraft that was right in front of us. It happened to be the Airbus 350 from Asian Airlines. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it was quite foggy towards close to the ground. It may have been smoke, which LA is well known for, or it just might be a microclimate from being close to the ocean. But as we approached the LAX runway, I could see a bit more of the golden sun. You can see the aircraft slowing down, and you can see LA downtown far in the distance. I couldn't see the Hollywood sign today, unfortunately. However, I did see the usual In-N-Out burger, which is a graded plane spotting spot just before the touchdown. It was a pretty smooth, quick landing today.
The local time is 20 minutes past 5 on Monday the 1st of November. As the seatbelt sign is still on, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened. Smoking and the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted while disembarking or throughout the terminal. Just a reminder, carry-on baggage may have moved in the overhead lockers and could fall out, so please take care. Don't forget to check your seat and seat pocket for any personal items. You must continue to wear a face mask as you exit the aircraft and in the terminal building. Please take all leftover masks or wipes with you and dispose of them in the general waste bins. Once the seatbelt sign is off, where possible, please maintain appropriate distance between yourself and other customers as you disembark. If you can reach your mobile phone, you can turn off flight mode now. Please remember to take all masks or wipes off the aircraft and place within the general waste bins. On behalf of all of us here at Qantas Q11 World, we'd like to thank you for choosing to fly with us. And welcome back to Los Angeles. We hope you enjoy your stay, and of course for those returning, welcome home.
Overall, it was very enjoyable flight, a nice return to long-haul trans-Pacific flight. The food quality was good, staff was very friendly, everyone was excited. The wearing a mask on board was quite difficult, but I tried to stick to it as much as I can. The trickiest part was having it on while you're sleeping. Fortunately, I was sitting on the R2 door, which meant that I could actually video the moment the aircraft door was opening. I quite like this moment because there's something symbolic about this, the moment the aircraft door opens. It's like reconnecting with that outside world that you're disconnected for 14 hours.
You know, next minute you put all of the paper on there and everybody. Yep. But you have to understand that this is a very short transition. I think the world never been in that position.
Not exactly, yeah.
The spirit of the strike.
Yeah. did it very well, you know, before the vaccine. The vaccine will come
Thank you. It was a very enjoyable flight. I could not say same about the passport control process. It was as bad as it used to be before COVID. Now, just to finish the video off, I like to share the footage from one of the places I visited during this trip, which was the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. It's a library in name only, really. It was more of a memorial museum. Just look at this humongous Air Force One that they managed to install on top of this mountain top. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my second video trip report. I'll come back with more trip reports very soon. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you next time.